What's up, guys? Welcome back to Steinfab Garage. If you're new to the channel, this is where I try to fix a bunch of cool JDM cars like this one, and I break them and they never run again. So be sure to subscribe to see the junkyard grow into more cars that will never be fixed. Today, I'm gonna break the Mazdaspeed. It needs injector seals. It started running incredibly bad, so it's time to finally do the injector seals. For those of you unfamiliar with the Mazdaspeeds, they are direct injection. So when the injector seals are bad, it blows compression out and essentially is a compression loss. So these are the new injector seals. These are from Overspeed Motorsports. This is what seals on the head, and it's really hard to tell, but they're kind of conical or concave. So as you tighten it down, it will flatten out and seal across the whole surface. So that's way better than stock. Stock is like a copper O-ring, essentially. And it only seals on a fraction of the material, essentially from like here inward. So it's like a tiny drain pan metal copper O-ring instead of this whole surface. These are very good when you increase boost or have mods. And I was told when I bought the car that these needed to be changed instantly. And so far I put 2,800 miles on the car and it still runs, but it's gotten so slow that I think like a non-turbo Subaru's faster than it. Right on startup, you can really hear the injector seals bad. It will sound like a pop. The noise is the absolute worst when you're by a wall. My launch could have been questionable, so now I'm going to do 50 to 90 pulls. We'll go on 10 once again. I got to slow down to 50. And 90. So yeah, the cops were not a fan of the test pulls. As you guys can tell, the car's obnoxious, loud, and slow. It's time to swap out those seals for some new ones. Now that the car's cooled down from the test pulls, I'm gonna go ahead and pull it apart. First thing I need to do is get the top mount intercooler out of the way. Looks like I got 3 bolts, then the charge pipe on both sides. The intake's interfering with the blow-off valve, so I'm pulling the intake off. And there we go. It looks like I forgot to disconnect the bypass valve to the blow-off valve. That little clamp just yeeted itself straight in the intake. Gotcha. Make sure to block your ports right away. This is not a fun job to do, but it's not that hard. I believe there's 6 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then one down on the front, 6. connecting it to the block, so I need to get those done. To access that one right there, the power steering pump needs to be tilted forward. So I'm gonna disconnect the power steering pump, tilt it forward, get this intake boot off, and get that metal aluminum plate out of the way. That was a pain. Had to pull the top 2 bolts. This one stays in without pulling that line. This one comes out. And then I loosened the 3rd. Can't really see it down there. There's a 3rd. I thought there was a 4th right here, but it's just a dowel pin that sits into the block. So I loosened that 3rd bolt quite a bit. Then you can pop it out a bit and let it rotate. And the belt pulls on it quite a bit, so it pulls it out of your way. That is now ready for us to get this intake manifold bolt right there. I forgot to mention sizes for anyone interested. All the top mount intercooler bolts nuts were 12 millimeters. And then on the intake, I had 10 millimeters and an 8 millimeter over here. This one right here was an 8 mil. The next one down there is a 10 millimeter. And all the power steering bolts were 12 millimeters. This just pops right out. Time to get some vacuum lines out of the way. These red things are typically quick releases where you push down on them. Once you push down on the red collar, you should be able to pull up on the hose. Just like that. Now I'm just gonna pull some stuff out of the way that's kind of unnecessary, but I can't see anything because there's lines everywhere. I've never done one of these before, but I just pulled on that and then pulled up. It came right out. This plate back here needs to come off, and there's some bolts down in the abyss. So I'm gonna take the throttle body off. These are 8 millimeters. Now I'm just gonna shove the throttle body to the side and not mess with it anymore. So the EGR crossover pipe is in the way. It's that pipe right there, and it runs over there and has a couple 8 millimeters holding it in. It's a lot easier to access if you pull the intake. You can see it right through there. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull those 8 millimeter bolts off. And this is a 7/8 right here. And these can be pretty tight depending on if someone over tightened them. Someone's done this motor, so it was really tight. How do you get so good with your fingers? And just like that, crossover pipes out. Got the gasket. This plate has 4 10 millimeter bolts. One's there, and 2 over here. Plate is out. Really good progress so far. I can see where the one bolt is that goes into the block right here. You can see where it's mounted into the block right there. So it's right in line with that. So there's a sensor over here. It's almost off, but something's holding it down there. I think it might be the map sensor. So I'm just gonna pry on stuff till something comes apart and see what breaks. There it is. The map sensor that everybody talks about is right here. You just gotta disconnect it. And then there's this, which I believe is for the factory catch can. So that was the next biggest obstacle. My issue was this metal bracket was still on, retaining the dipstick. So once I took this off, it stopped cradling the dipstick and I could get to that sensor and other stuff. Overall, not the worst job. Definitely not the easiest. They designed a bunch of stuff to be a pain in the and it really didn't need to be, but it's off. So now we can access the injectors. They're right in here. So I gotta pull this rail next. The first thing I'm gonna do is rag off all these and then throw some tape over it because I don't want anything hopping in the engine. Definitely should have loosened these first. You just need to disconnect 2 bolts and pry the feet off, and then that yellow clip you pull up and you can get the return off. And there we go, the fuel rail is off. Now I gotta pull these Torx 30s. There's one for every injector, and then the injectors will come out. So what you want to do is smack each one with a extension and a hammer to loosen up the metals. It's a steel bolt into aluminum. So by doing this, you will shock the metals and hopefully get them to separate. It's a trick I used to use at the machine shop. Definitely not a Torx 30. It is, however, a Torx 40. Fits way better. I had my doubts on the impact, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop before I break it. I went ahead and pulled the first injector and it looks pretty good. Number 2, on the other hand, you can see just how much leakage has been going on. The head is black from all the exhaust coming out. I'm not even sure if I see a seal on this anymore. That one right there was also blowing some compression out. That one decent, and we got a little carbon in it. That was bad right there. I think all of them were bad. So I just went out to the car and cleaned up the injector ports. I think they're actually pre-cups. If you guys know about diesels, you'll know what I'm talking about. I was afraid I might melt the head with these seals being bad, but to me, it looks like they shove in a steel insert into the aluminum head. So the head looks okay. That being said, I do not see any seals. That's the only injector I've cleaned. These 3 are fresh out of the head, and I don't see any seals whatsoever on it. And when I was cleaning the head, this is the only piece I found. So I think I literally just sent it till it blew the seals out. I think it was probably just running mostly on carbon buildup. 3 of the ports had pieces of the seal in it, of whatever that is. One of them had nothing. So the Mazdaspeed was pretty much running with no injector seals. So that would explain why it got so slow. I got a little bit of oil just to give them a film. I don't know if this is a good or a bad idea, but I worked at a machine shop and was taught not to put stuff together dry. So we're gonna throw a little oil on it and see what happens. Yeah, the fit is super tight. Okay. It clicked on pretty good. I'm happy with that. That one doesn't want to go on. And I'm annoyed now. There we go. That's how this should slide on. These two injectors don't want to slide on. So I'm going to take a little bit of sandpaper and see if it got a little beat up. And when I say sandpaper, this is 3000 grit, so it shouldn't remove much material. Hopefully just some carbon. That looks way cleaner. But it still doesn't want to go on. All right, I was having a lot of trouble with this. So what I ended up doing is just getting an 11/16 quarter drive. And it's one that, you know, can fit pretty snugly over the tip. So if I go like that and like that. God, those are tight. Can't imagine if those ever have to come off. So there are the $200 injector seals. That's $50 a piece. So now let's go put these bad boys back in. That is all that's left right there of the old injector seals. But someone's definitely remanned this motor. It is super clean. Anytime you have steel bolts going into aluminum heads, make sure to anti-seize them. As far as torque spec on these, I'm going till I think they're good. Number 1 pulled better than number 2, so I went back to number 2 after I felt how number 1 pulled nice. Injectors are in, so I'm gonna go ahead and spare you guys the rest of the assembly. I'm gonna get it done and I'll see you guys for the startup, and then we'll go on a test drive. All right, I got it all back together. Let's go ahead and see if it will start up. Probably needs to get fuel up. Well, it runs, so I didn't completely destroy the car. Let's go for a test drive and see how it does. If you guys have heard about those crazy wildfires in New Mexico, they are approaching my house in the junkyard. So hopefully they can get them under control. I think where I am, there's less firewood, so I should be good. All the 240s would be a loss, you know, but then I wouldn't have to fix them anymore. Once again, we'll be going on 10. We'll do 50 to 100 on 10. I really can't tell if it's any better. The car's still slow, so I think I'm gonna try putting higher octane gas in it. I may be running this thing on regular. Well, there we have it. I actually managed to fix something. It was relatively easy, and now the car just runs so much better. It has way more low-end power. Before, the throttle had like no response. So I'm very happy that I was finally able to do this, and that I actually was successful instead of being unsuccessful like I've been with so many other projects. So it's nice to actually have one go right. There definitely is some truth to that saying, you gotta walk before you can run. I started off full sprint and I need to slow down, start with baby steps. So for my next video, I'm considering changing a battery in a car or changing a flat tire. I'm not too sure. The battery is kind of intimidating me. I don't want to fry all the electronics, so I might start with just changing a flat tire. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining us on today's episode. I hope y'all are having a good one. Later.